Hello, and welcome to my presentation on taking the next step with TPRS, iPod integration. My name is Garrett Fisher, and I am a graduate student at the University of North Carolina at Charlotte in the United States of America studying Spanish translation. Before graduate school, I taught at both the high school and the community college levels, utilizing TPRS as a pedagogical approach to second language acquisition. I would like to share with you today how I use technology to modify this method. TPRS is known as Total Physical Response through Storytelling. James Asher originally introduced TPR in the 1970s to increase student engagement with activities in a stress-free environment. Blaine Ray introduced his modification of the approach by adding a storyline. Both TPR and TPRS utilize a cycle of questions and answers known as circling, combined with physical actions. Maintaining student engagement is imperative, and when coupled with kinesthetic motion, learning is facilitated with a memorable experience. The effectiveness of TPRS can also be explained by Stephen Krashen's notion of comprehensibility with his I+1 theory. Input must be comprehensible in order for students to feel comfortable to communicate. I offer here in this next slide an example of how circling works in conversations, or in stories for that matter. Notice how vocabulary is limited, repetition is constant, and negation is used. Consider the questioning technique while circling. El carro es rojo. El carro es rojo? Sí, el carro es rojo. ¿El carro es negro? No, el carro no es negro. El carro es rojo. ¿El carro es rojo o negro? Sí, el carro es rojo. No es negro. Take a moment to see how this focuses on comprehensibility. Few words are used, however, the students are able to understand what is said. If you haven't tried TPRS before, I highly recommend it because you will be amazed how willing the students will be when they actually understand what is being said. Couple this with technology or a kinesthetic activity, and they will truly enjoy the class. Now that you have an idea of how TPRS works, I'll share with you how I modified it using the Apple iPod Nano. There are multiple ways you can modify the method with technology. However, today we will focus on my case study with the iPod. My case study focused on a total of 37 high school students. This group comprised of one set of beginner Spanish students and one set of second semester Spanish students. I carried out the case study after 30 total hours of instruction, which was equivalent to 1 month of school. Before the case study, I only used the TPRS method. Students were given 60 minutes and an iPod Nano to complete a 5-step task to learn and reinforce learned material through translating a 299-word story in Spanish. The iPods were previously loaded with only an audio recording of my voice reading the story in Spanish. Students followed the instructions and received 2 types of grades, completion and marked. The marked grades for each step were averaged for the total marked grade. The steps were written on the board as follows. Step 1. Write down exactly what you hear in Spanish on your iPod. Step 2. Check your paper with mine for accuracy. Step 3. Translate your story into English. Step 4. Check your paper with mine for accuracy. Step 5. Record yourself reading the story in Spanish. The results were very positive with a few drawbacks. As you can see, the achievement percentages were high, students were generally engaged, and more had positive comments than negative. Overall, this modification of the TPRS method was effective, and I would recommend it to other teachers who utilize the TPRS method in their classrooms. Such technology can be costly. We were lucky enough to have the iPods and a charging cart from participating in a pilot program here in North Carolina. However, media players can be purchased through grants, donations, and other online resources. With the rapid advancement of technology, the possibilities are limitless for future modifications of the TPRS method. I thank you for your time, and feel free to contact me if you have any further questions.